Developing Successful Youth-Adult Partnerships. Developed by the National Collaborative on Workforce and Disability for Youth at the Institute for Educational Leadership. Photos of youth and adults appear on the screen. Elizabeth Bio, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
So for me, the Youth-Adult Partnership has been, I think, very similar to my partnership with any of my colleagues. I want to almost elevate the youth I'm working with to a point where they know that I respect them, I trust them, I want to know their opinion, and I'm holding them to a high standard. And I want them to do the same thing. I want them to hold me to a high standard. It's not an uneven distribution of power. It is an open, honest relationship where everyone has responsibilities and everyone deserves equal respect.
Photos of youth and adults appear on the screen. Alexa McBride, Sacramento, California.
Just make sure that the youth is welcome. Because if the company is just ran by adults,
you will not want to be a part because they want to feel like
then the youth won't be involved in it
they want
because they want to
feel like
they are being heard.
Photos of youth and adults appear on the screen. Jennifer Thomas, Institute for Educational Leadership, Washington, D.C.
Youth-adult partnership is interesting. Unlike the adults serving as an ally and being somewhat in the background supporting youth at their request, youth-adult partnerships involve the youth and adults working together for whatever that common good is. It involves them both taking responsibility for their actions. It involves both youth and adults being committed to the work that they're doing and being held accountable to each other in the work. So there has to be a joint level of support on both ends where the youth and the adults are viewed as equal partners.
Tegekina Moi Moi, Long Beach, California.
Adults can first get to know them better before making executive judgment.
Photos of youth and adults appear on the screen. Ruth Richardson, St. Paul, Minnesota.
We know that oftentimes with individuals with disabilities, they're not often asked about what their needs are or what their wants are. And we've worked with a fair number of transition age young adults who have never been asked things such as, what time do you want the light turned off at night? Or what time do you want it turned on in the morning? What do you want to do on the weekend for fun? And so in order to really to be able to get to a point that you can hear the needs from the individual, it really requires that you give them the space to do that and also the tools to really build self-advocacy skills.
Photos of youth and adults appear on the screen. Nicole Drazen, Redlands, California.
Youth and adults can work better as partners, starting with the adult side of it. When you're the adult partner with this youth team, you have to recognize that you go down with the ship. And sometimes something that a youth team will put their minds to, it may not always work out. And you as the adult have to be down to go down with the ship, which involves a lot of risk. Especially if you have a supporting organization that thinks that you're running this and you're going to be the one that makes this beautiful and clean and perfect for them so that they can trust the youth, because your supporting organization may not trust the youth like you do. And so you have to go into it knowing that you go down with the ship, and that's a difficult thing to embrace. Simultaneously, if you go down with the ship because you're really letting them take part in this, that allows for a relationship that will develop that is powerful and beautiful and dysfunctional at times, but ultimately I would say is maybe even more important than the results, because results come from that relationship.
Photos of youth and adults appear on the screen. Madeline Miller, Auburn, Indiana.
I feel like just open-minded adults are really important, and taking that youth can contribute. You know, we haven't learned as much as adults, and we still have to discover ourselves and know what direction we want to go in and discovering what direction we want the world to go in. But I think adults that are open to those ideas and new ideas is really important.
Photos of youth and adults appear on the screen. NCWD Youth wishes to thank the Youth Action Council on Transition for their involvement in the development of this video. Youth Act is an initiative of the National Collaborative on Workforce and Disability for Youth, led by the Institute for Educational Leadership. This video was produced under a cooperative agreement funded by the U.S. Department of Labor's Office of Disability Employment Policy. The opinions contained in this video are those of the grantee contractor and do not necessarily reflect those of the U.S. Department of Labor.